All right, everybody, welcome back. So, I see where the government is saying, well, they are vowing to expose forex cartels, and they have named certain companies that is currently, or those companies are have been given millions and millions of dollars, such as Arawak and Nutrimix and PriceSmart, some of the usual suspects in all of this. And I suspect that there is a benefit to say the names of these companies, but what I would love to really hear is, how do you generate more forex, and how is there going to be a more equitable distribution of forex in Trinidad and Tobago, and what is going to be done almost immediately to give forex to these small businesses in Trinidad and Tobago that are on their deathbed. All right, and I think that all of us are waiting to see what is going to be announced in the budget. So we know all of the problems, we know all of the problems, but I think that the main discussion should be at this time, what are the solutions? All right, so I just want to put that on the table. All right, so we are going to be discussing now matters that the police want you to know, right? And we do have TTPS Media Ambassador Sgt Ancil Forde. That's the gentleman there. Yeah, Mr. Forde, good morning.
Pleasant morning, Marlan. Pleasant morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
How are you this morning?
I good. I seen some things in the newspaper this morning, but that is not for you to talk about. Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. But what you have for us?
Marlan, we are looking at the issue of discipline.
Yeah.
Particularly as it relates to our children, and more so school children. I want to say it's not a new thing. Right? We have witnessed acts of indiscipline among our children, right?
Yeah.
And we have to ask ourselves, where does it start? That sort of ill discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Ideally, Marlan, it starts from within the home.
Of course.
Yeah. And if it is as parents, we do not instill the right discipline and the right values in our children, then we could expect that it will flow over onto the streets. It will flow over into the schools. Yes? So the discussion this morning is really and truly to call on parents. Not that some parents don't do their best. We understand some parents really do their best, and then sometimes the child, because of influences or the mind of the child still sometimes go the wrong way, right?
I'm listening to the radio the other day, a few weeks ago, and there's this lady who called in very excited, and she was speaking to the DJ, and she said, I'm listening to your music, and we're going to drink something, and we're going to roll up something and smoke. And you're hearing the children in the background,
Yes.
the noises and so on. And, I remember that lady, because I'm just saying, what sort of parent would want to sit down and drink and smoke with their children?
Correct is right. And even have that sort of conversation, let us say in the hearing of your children. If as the adult, that is your vice, you would have made a conscious decision as an adult. But then even have that conversation in the presence of your children. And then further, to carry out the act in the presence of your children. So what are you teaching them? All right? So the issue of discipline and the term from the tomb to the womb is very relevant, right? Because it starts from that tender age, right? So from toddlers growing up into the teenage years, this is where you the parent, need to groom that child, right? Shape that child, shape the mind of that child into understanding that I must be a disciplined person. I must recognize that there is authority, all right? And I have to submit myself as a child to the authority starting from within the home. Yeah? So if it is that the child is allowed to rule the parent, disobey the parent, right? And there's no consequences. And when we say consequences, we are not readily saying to be physically abusive.
Yeah.
We are not saying sometimes you may not have to cut the child tail in local parlance, right? Sometimes you have to do it. But ideally, from when you start early and you start that talking repeatedly, right? Advising, telling the child about the do's and the don'ts, and ensuring that your child complies, right? You are on the right track to instilling the required level of discipline, right, in your child. Now, we have to also recognize that a child will be a child, right? And as a parent, you would also remember that I was once a child, right? And there are some things that the child just will do.
Yeah.
Right? Don't climb there. Don't touch this.
Yeah.
The child will. Right?
I know it.
But by a simple admonishment, a simple tap on the wrist, right, is sufficient enough to tell that child you cannot do that, right? And that is where it starts. Now, you made a point earlier on, Marlan, in relation to the parent indulging or engaging in a certain type of behavior in the presence of the child. That is a type of role modeling, but not the correct type. Because just what it is, you teach the child, and I want to say unconsciously, is what the child is learning.
Of course.
Right? So, to the parent who gets upset with the child and uses obscene language towards the child, don't be surprised when it is the child is using obscene language, right? And then you say, who teach you that? You want to discipline the child there now, right? But you taught the child that because in the environment where the child is growing up, that is the language of the day.
Of course.
All right? So simple things like this, we need as parents to recognize that the approach is wrong, right? And it may not be you, it may be a neighbor who is engaging in that type of conduct towards their children. But the thing is, your children or your child is exposed to it. That is the opportunity for you to tell your child that is obscene language, or that is a word I don't want to hear you saying, right?
You remember back in the day when the old people or the parents would tell you, go inside, when they're speaking something that children should not hear? Now the children are a part of the conversations, right?
That is
the children are a part of the limes and the fetes and so on, where the mother and the child, they're exchanging pom-pom shots, and the father, they're drinking alcohol and passing the blunt around. So that's the reason why we are in the morass that we are in.
And Marlan, you are correct. Because we the parents, we unconsciously teach our children sometimes the wrong thing, and we sometimes allow them to get away with, I want to say, the little wrong. And that little wrong continues to grow.
Yeah.
Right? And then, because you allowed the child to exhibit certain acts of ill discipline, to ignore authority within the home, they reach to the school, right? And it is difficult now for the teacher to take charge of the class with one or two children who come into the school classroom with that sort of ill discipline and lack of respect for authority, all right? And they in turn, Marlan, want to oppose the teacher.
Yeah.
But whilst it is, we identify that it would be in the minority. We have instances where the parent comes into the school because of the fact that a teacher took a certain position,
yes,
with respect to the ill discipline of your child, and you in turn as a parent come in school for the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What example are you teaching your child?
Because the lines have been blurred between the parent and the child. Because everybody these days, they want to be the friend of your child.
Yes.
And parenting is a balancing act. It's a science, you know.
It is, Marlan, because you don't want to be, I want to say, so stern that your child is unable to come to you. No, you don't want that. So the point you made about the balance is critical. But you have to ensure that the balance is the right balance, right? Mm-hmm. And it is more on the positive side. And there are things that is absolutely no. And you ensure that your child knows that, right? Mm-hmm. So when the child goes into the school, there's a certain level of discipline. And all the teacher has to do now is to build on that, right? And educate your child now, preparing your child for, I want to say, positive or meaningful careers. And not get caught up in that, I want to say, that incipient stage of instilling discipline.
Yeah.
No. Yeah? So, if it is that a parent, recognizing that your child may have been assaulted in school, you in turn go into the school and assault the teacher or assault another.
You beat everybody.
Another student. Is that the right thing to do? Definitely not.
Absolutely not.
Because one, you are in fact breaking the law.
Of course.
Yes? And you are in fact teaching your child to break the law too.
Yes, but let me also put this on the table, because I have said over and over that if the police cannot protect my child, the state cannot protect my child, the education ministry cannot protect my child, the principal, the counselor, then somebody has to protect that child, you know, officer. Because if the parent feels that, and I agree with you, I'm not supporting a parent going out outside the school to beat any child. I'm not supporting that. But there must be someone to protect your child, you know. If your child is being bullied every day and beaten every day, and when the parent comes out of the school, the children want to beat the parent. And that is what is facing parents, you know.
I understand that. What has to be done is to bring the issue to the authorities. Bring the issue to the authorities as the parent, right? Because you don't want to teach your child the wrong thing, but you want to also teach your child that there are ways in which to have this matter resolved. And there's a right way and the wrong way. Mm-hmm. So, when we understand the dynamics, right, in some homes due to separations, right, you don't have the benefit of both parents sometimes being in the same household. Yes? However, there's an important issue of co-parenting. Mm-hmm. Yes? That must exist and must take priority over any other differences that the parents may have.
Yes.
Right? Which is to ensure that we support each other in the rearing and the disciplining of our children. If it is that one parent encourages the child to do the wrong thing, it makes it difficult for that other parent to get the child to do the right thing.
You're right.
So they have to be on the same page where that singular issue is concerned, right? And further to that, their issues must not involve the children. Huh? Children must be kept out of the adult situation, or of the adult issues.
You're right.
One parent mustn't negatively speak about the other parent to the child, and vice versa. You are encouraging a certain level of ill discipline, and I want to say disrespectful behavior to the other parent.
Yeah, you're really poisoning the child, you know.
You are, right? And these things happen sometimes unconsciously, right? But we have to be mindful as parents, yes? So,
Studio, just incidentally, how much time does the Sergeant have? All right, Sergeant, you have 1 minute.
Sure. What we need to do, Marlan, is to ensure that we set the foundation for our children to lead, I want to say, very disciplined lives. It starts from the home, and if you do a wonderful job at home, rest your head assured that your child will continue to exhibit that sort of discipline and respect for authority. Your head will be at ease, and society, by extension, would be at ease, because you, the parent, would have done your part to a great extent. Yes?
Sergeant, thank you very much for coming this morning. We will continue this discussion at another time, but thanks again.
Most welcome.
All right, everybody, we're coming back.